Hey group, it's Ben, and we're back with a little something different. This is a reaction video, but it's not music. I was scrolling through my feed looking for what I was going to do, and I came across this. This is an open letter to Tom MacDonald and the Hangover gang. Well, I'm part of the Hangover gang, so I'm going to check out this open letter. We're going to see what's up. I've never heard of this lady. The channel she's on is The Reason We Learn. I'm down for learning. I'm definitely Hangover gang, and we're going to see what's up. If y'all don't know, Tom inspired me to start this channel. If it wasn't for Tom MacDonald and NF, I wouldn't be doing this. So we're going to see what she's got to say to my boy Tom. Let's go. Deb filming, right?
This is an open letter to Tom MacDonald in video form. First, I want to thank you for all the wonderful content that you produce. Your songs are so inspiring, and they really help me tell the story of America's education crisis. That is why I started doing reaction videos on my channel, because I think you have so perfectly captured some of the end results of what's happening in our schools.
I am down with some education reform. I've talked about it a lot, but here in Walker, where I'm at, we have great schools. I don't have anything to complain about. We have one teacher that's a little bit weird, but it's okay to have one or two that's a little bit weird, right? As long as you're talking to your kids and you're making sure that your kids understand right from wrong, real from fiction, and actual science and history and stuff, make sure you're discussing with your kids what's going on.
Schools, what has been happening in our schools for decades, I believe intentionally.
Yes, absolutely,
and
it's
help
intentional.
Support my argument that we need to get our kids out of these schools and end the government monopoly on education in America.
Okay, that's a little bit too libertarian for me. Not everybody can homeschool. Not everybody can pool school. If you can, that's great. And I fully support you being able to do that. But not everybody can do that. And that's just reality. What needs to happen is here in Walker, we have great schools. We have been very intentional as a school system, as a community, we're better here than other schools in our district. We have been intentional here about culture and truth, and that's what needs to happen. You need to take control of the situation.
So thank you, and thanks to all of the Hog family who watch my videos, who have helped me.
This is my first time ever seeing her.
And have helped me get my message out to parents, which I believe is so important.
But you know me, if she's with it, then I'm with it too. I'm down for the fight.
They need to be made aware of what's going on in their kids' schools. They need to be able to stand up and be brave, but you can't be brave about something until you know what's happening.
Truth.
So, thanks to all of you. Tom, I decided to speak to you this way because it's pretty hard to get a hold of you. I'm going to send a copy of this to the business email that you have, but I'm hoping maybe someone in your fan base, maybe you, somehow can get you to see this.
That's not me.
To bring a story to you I think will matter. I think you'll care about. It's about my friend Gabrielle Clark. I'm just going to read from this. It's kind of small print. At the beginning of her son William's senior year of high school, he was asked to list his identities of race, religion, sexual orientation, and disabilities.
Okay, see, we don't put up with that shit here.
He was then asked to attach labels like oppressor and privilege to those identities.
We don't put up with that shit here.
When he refused, his school threatened to fail him, making him unable to graduate. They were devastated. They tried to opt out of the class, but the school was unwavering in their position. He had to complete the class in order to graduate. Then she told William the school's decision. She told William the school's decision, he gave her the most defeated look and said, "That's unbelievable." Her heart dropped. I tried appealing to every person in the chain of command for any kind of relief they could give us, to no avail. I couldn't sleep that night. I had to make a decision. After speaking with my family, we decided to sue. Now my son William and I are in a landmark legal battle against indoctrination and discrimination. We're fighting for William's civil rights. We are fighting because we are Americans. Please help us fight. You can see all the details and court filings at noleftturn.us, the Clark lawsuit. I would encourage anyone watching this, Tom, Nova, everybody, go to No Left Turn Education. You can read the court documents. You can see the evidence. Her case is solid. A judge said she's likely to prevail, but she's only
Only if the courts, like, that's our problem, is the courts have to decide to take the case. And then most of the time they're not going to because they don't want to get involved. Most of this should be a legislative issue. It should. But the courts should jump in whenever it's necessary. And they are getting really bad about not doing that. We need to hold them accountable. And if they're in a life appointed position, then maybe they should be out of that position.
made it to the point where it's been determined it can continue. She's been offered lots of zeros to settle. She refuses.
Bet.
I should say, William, to his credit, refuses. This is a young man, Tom, I think you'd want to meet. This is a stoic, quiet young man who's wanted his face kept out of this. He's done no interviews at all. He does not want the money. It would be life-changing. Doesn't want it. Doesn't want to be owned. Doesn't want this to continue.
What's the price of your soul? That's what they're asking him. How much can we buy your soul for? You are willing to stand up. We need to get rid of that. That's what they're doing.
He has told his mother he doesn't want any other kid to be put in a position he was put in to profess things he doesn't believe. That's compelled speech, which is against the Constitution. And he doesn't want this trend to continue. And if he can make a difference, he wants to. These are people who do not have money. I mean, they are doing all this themselves with donations. And I've come to you because I think you and Gabs, she goes by Gabs, are kindred spirits. In part because she's turned down the settlement, which I know you've turned down record contracts, you've turned down the establishment, you've gone on your own, you and Nova, and you have just said, I'm not going to be owned. And that's what she has said. She knows, because she's seen it happen to other people, that people get used, they get exploited. These stories are narratives that somebody on either side wants to use. We know, and because you've said it in your videos, most recently in America, there's really not much difference between the two so-called sides.
Bet.
To a degree, they want these problems to continue. They want us divided. They don't really want to solve this problem. Each side is marketing it to make money for their think tanks and their fundraisers and their books that they're going to write. But the kids still have to go to school and be taught these things about their country. And
And in that situation, I fully support pulling your kids out and doing the pool school thing. Like, you get with other parents and you decide the curriculum and you decide what you're going to teach your kids. And if you can't do that in your state, then fucking leave. The great thing about America is that we are 50 independent states that work together. We should have 50 independent states where you can go, like, if you don't like what's happening wherever this is, I missed where this was, but wherever this is, like, if you don't like that, then come to Walker. Like, we got plenty of houses for sale. Well, not as many as there used to be because people are fleeing Baton Rouge and New Orleans. And we have to work hard now to make sure that we maintain our standards here. Because we have them here. Here we have them. Here we are fighting as a community to keep them. That is a thing. We have that community feel even though we're not a small town anymore. Our schools are very much involved in the right fight. Our schools are fighting against the thing. Like, they're not winning. They're state supported. They have to do that. But they're trying. They really are. This thing will never be a thing here. It's just that the requirement is not going to go off here. It's not.
What it's going to take is what it took with Brown v. Board of Education. It's going to take a landmark case.
It is.
While we still can. Why we have Supreme Court justices that might be constitutionalists, let's say.
And I'm going to tell you, you would be better off to get in touch with Robert Barnes than to try and get in touch with Tom. Tom might be able to support financially. I'm sure he will probably try to slide a little bit of money to you. But get with Robert Barnes, Viva Fry. They are lawyers. And Robert specializes in taking on the government in not particularly this type of situation. But this is not the type of situation that he will shy away from. And if he's not able to handle it, he can put you in touch with somebody that will. Somebody that will fight this fight, maybe even pro bono. I can't make that promise for him, but that's going to be your best option.
I say conservative because I really don't think that's appropriate here. We're talking about people who respect the Constitution, and I think we might be just on the edge of that. But this is what we're aiming for, is to get a case that could help decide for the whole country, for every state. Because right now, if this gets decided or she settles in one state, says nothing to the other states, they can keep compelling speech until somebody else brings a lawsuit. We could be at this for 10, 20 years.
But see, that is the conundrum, because that is how it's supposed to be. We're not supposed to be homogenous. Like, we are the melting pot, and all of our stuff gets melted together, and that is true. But the beauty of it is, like the beauty of our republic, is the fact that we are 50 independent states. The state of Louisiana has different laws than the state of Texas, the state of Arkansas, and the state of Mississippi, who surround us. Like, we have a difference from them. We hold different ideals here than they do there. Now, we hold core beliefs. The Constitution's the same, but a lot of the other things are really, really different. And that is supposed to be that way. The school systems should not be forced to be this way. This is my fight. This is what I fight for, is individual teaching. Like, I would love to see a revamp of our school system where they would incorporate the MBTI stuff that I do, because it can actually help change some lives. We need to change the way that we look at children and the way that they're educated, but not in a government mandates this type of situation. We need to take control of our own schools on a local level. Less federal interference, less federal sticking your fucking fingers in everybody's butthole. Like, that's what we need.
They were segregating schools for how long until Brown v. Board of Education? That's what this is going to take. To reaffirm the Civil Rights Act that, no, we don't judge people that way. And we don't allow teachers to have this ability to compel speech in the classroom.
And see, that is the reason they can get away with that, the compelling of speech, is because of federal regulations. We need to get the feds out of the schools. That needs to be a local effort. Yes, we need to have some standards. We do. But we don't need the government saying that every kid in every state needs to learn the exact same thing. That is ignorance.
Yes, school is compelled speech. Do the test, write the paper, get that. But no way. It stops at the point of incriminating yourself and saying horrible things about yourself and falling on your sword or bending the knee to the state, to your peers.
I agree.
Handing weapons for bullying to this kid's peers. What the hell?
Yeah.
So I just felt in my gut that this story would resonate with you, because you sing about these ideas so often that nobody should have to do this. You know, white boy brought me to tears. It was in a classroom. As soon as I saw that video, I immediately thought of William. For the record, as you can see, his mother is biracial. Okay? She's half black and she's half Native American. He is, her son, and his father's white. He passes for white. He has blue eyes, blondish hair. They called him a white boy. They called him that. They treated him like he had something to apologize for simply for existing. They told him to disavow his Christian faith. They were telling him,
and that's what the goal is,
to reject the teachings of his home because they were oppressive in his public school classroom. Because he was male, he was told he was automatically a misogynist.
That's true.
Just because he was
male.
male.
What happens.
He's a sweet kid. In addition, he's a musician, electronic music, dance music. He writes, he produces, etc. That's all he wants to do. All he wants to do is be an artist. He just wants to be left alone.
Then he doesn't need the school. Drop out. Get a GED. Go. Like, if you're trying to be an artist, drop out. Like, I'm not one to like, I love education. I educate myself more every day. I spend my free time, like I do this, and I watch science videos while these are cooking. Like, I do science for fun. I do math for fun. I love learning. But if your goal is to be an artist, drop out. Just do it. Like, bounce. Like, you don't need the schooling. Get your GED.
To do his thing. He's not really interested in all this politics. He's not really interested in all this stuff. He was thrown into it. This isn't his thing. And the fact that he just stood up bravely in his class and said no.
And see, I do love that. That's the American spirit right there. I would have his back. If he was here, I'd be in the fight.
Is what we want to see all our students do. William is a role model for other people of every age, but especially students in a classroom where discomfort is supposed to be the order of the day. You're not supposed to be comfy cozy in a classroom.
True.
Emotionally. You're not supposed to be abused, but you're supposed to be challenged.
Absolutely.
You're supposed to be asked to think. And there is a difference.
Yeah, absolutely.
The same people that say, oh, you're going to cause trauma, you're this person, microaggressions.
Say, I don't hold any of that. I come from a severely abused past, and I did none of that. Like, I don't put up with none of that. My daughter, she's in college now, so she's hearing all of these indoctrination words, and she's like, I don't get it. Yeah, it's crazy the things that people think they are entitled to not hear. You're wrong. You're not entitled to be comfortable at all.
Blah, blah, blah. Thought nothing of the kind of trauma and psychological upset it would cause William to say, disavow the values you were taught at home. Disavow your mom. Disavow your faith. Disavow your maleness.
No.
Accept that you're the problem when he's done nothing. He's done nothing. Or I'm going to fail you in this class. How is that not bullying?
That is bullying.
Well, it is.
It
Anyway,
is.
so I'm showing you the page.
And the teachers should be held accountable. Absolutely.
It's, crowdfunding. She's trying to raise
Personally.
money on her own.
By the
Public interest
parents.
groups have stepped up
After
to try
school.
to help her and provide lawyers for her, but consistently they want her to settle.
It is what it
When they
is.
get to that point, they just say, no, you're not going to settle, forget about it. They want to control the money and control her. They want to raise the money into their funds and then dole it out as they see fit, putting her on television, putting her on talk shows, etc., like that. They want to tell her what to say and what not to say. She doesn't want to do that. She wants to do it alone. She never wants to be in a position where she owes people because they paid for so and so much, legal representation, and now she feels pressured, or William feels pressured to settle. She doesn't want to do that. She wants to be in charge of her own destiny and William's destiny. It's really William's case. It's really him. She went to him and she said, son, these are the zeros. And he asked if there was any mayonnaise in the house. Which I think is especially funny because when you made one of your videos and talking about, cultural appropriation, and I jokingly said, God forbid you should like mayonnaise because people accuse you of being white if you do that. And I just thought that was kind of funny. But anyway, so what I'm asking here is not for you necessarily to give a direct donation, although that certainly would be nice. But if there's some way you can platform this, possibly this might even inspire you to write a song about the way these grifters out there are using the struggles of real people, ironically, in this whole big struggle culture. They want struggles to continue. She doesn't. He doesn't. But they'll use them for political gain, financial gain, something to write a book about. And even people who have done that have not donated to her cause. Look at this tiny number. She's been on major talk shows. She has gone to conferences. I was just at one this past weekend with her in Boston. There were major fundraisers there, major donors. Any one of them could have written her a check to easily cover the remainder of this fundraiser, but it's probably going to take a couple $1 million to get her over the finish line, because when you try to get a case that high, that's what it takes. And I just thought this would be something that would resonate with you. And in my last video, Reaction to America, I referred to you as kind of modern day Howard Rourke. And I thought I would share with you some quotes in case you haven't read The Fountainhead. Maybe you have, but if you haven't, I thought I would share with you what What I'm
I haven't
talking
read
about-
that. Should I read
Okay.
that?
This is Howard Rourke. I do not recognize anyone's right to 1 minute of my life, nor to any part of my energy, nor to any achievement of mine, no matter who makes the claim, how large their number, or how great their need. I'm a man who does not exist for others. Howard Rourke. And that's how I see it.
I do have a bit of a problem with that statement. Like, overall, it is not absolute truth. It is truth. But we are here for others. Like, that is part of our mission on Earth. Like, the reason for the meat suit is for the experience. And part of the experience is for others. It is not selfish for you. You are not entirely independent. You are not.
The you. The way you.
But that does not mean that anybody gets automatic claim over your stuff, like, at all. What you achieve and what you do is between you and God. Like, that is where that comes from. That doesn't come from anywhere else except from you and God. And you are responsible for making sure that you take care of your tribe.
Have done what you've done and stuck to it is an inspiration to all of us out here, small creators, people living small lives, just stepping up independently like William did and saying no. Just no.
And that's what we're doing here.
So if there's any way that you can find to help Gabrielle and William, I would really appreciate it. They would really appreciate it. And those of you watching, if you could possibly make a small donation, even $1, it will really help a lot. She is fighting a fight that represents all of us. And I keep saying she. It's really he. It is really William doing it. It's really William's fight. If he had said, no, Mom, take the money, they would have. Because he's been put through the ringer, even though he hasn't shown his face. His classmates, his school, people have been trying to find him. It's hard for him to remain anonymous. So, thank you for watching. Thank you for all you do. And I really hope you get this. Thanks, everybody.
All right, so we're going to talk about it for just a second. God damn it, Windows. I'm down with it. Like, I'm going to amplify this. You know, that's what I do. I amplify the small voices as much as I can. I amplify the good messages as much as I can. And this is definitely a good message. Like, I'm not a full-on libertarian. Like, there's a lot about the Libertarian Party that is just absolutely insane. And that was a somewhat libertarian message. But we absolutely need to take responsibility for our schools. And we need to support those that are fighting. Now, I can't afford to even give $1. Like, my budget is tight. But I can repost this. I can give my reaction to this, and I can amplify it a very small bit. And maybe one of y'all can go over there and drop off $5. That'd be cool. I don't know that Tom's ever going to see this. I don't know that Tom's ever going to react to this or do anything with this. I really do think that your best bet would be to get with Robert Barnes. Like, he can at least point you in the direction of a local lawyer that is fighting a good fight and that might help you out with legal fees. But Robert Barnes is absolutely fighting the good fight all over the country. And, that's a better option than trying to get in touch with Tom. Not that Tom wouldn't want to help, but there's only so much, like, when you're at that level, you can't get involved publicly or else everybody just piles on. It's like, help me with this fight, help me with this fight, help me with this fight. And he's fighting his own fight. This is my issue with Topher and his beef with Tom. Like, I say beef, it's not really a beef. It's more of a calling out, or like, Topher doesn't feel like Tom's doing enough. But Tom is doing as much as he can to fight the fight. I'm doing as much as I can to fight the fight. Everybody fights different fights, and Tom's fight is bringing awareness to things. And if he can make awareness happen for this, that'd be awesome. But he might not be able to, too. I'm definitely going to amplify this. This is going to go up. It'll probably go up on a Sunday, because I'm not putting out a whole lot on Sundays these days. But anyways, The reason we learned, I forgot the lady's name. I'm sorry. I'm terrible with names. Like, it takes me a little while to get your name down. But I appreciate this. This is good stuff. I'm going to amplify it as much as I can. To the crew, y'all amplify it as much as you can. If you can give $5 to the fundraiser, do that. The information will be linked down below. It always is. Make sure you get back over there. I'm going to throw her a sub. I'm going to throw her a like. I'm going to feed the algorithm. That's all I can do, right? But this was good stuff. To the crew, thanks for hanging out. I appreciate every single minute that you are here with me. And I am praying for you every single day. This has been Pitt's Take. Peace.